Hey, what's up? This is another parking lot car talk rant review from your boy Chris in good old New Beige. How are ya? It is cold and miserable and rainy out here in good old New England today, but that's to be expected because that's wintertime and that's just how it goes. So this is going to be a little quick one. I'm curious as to your guys' opinions on chain restaurants, particularly when you start seeing the same chains everywhere you go. So I live in New Bedford, and of course, for those of you who know this area, we're surrounded by Dartmouth, Fairhaven. Okay, so I've always looked at New Bedford and Dartmouth as being one and the same. I know it's the town of Dartmouth and the city of New Bedford, but they're so close and so intermingled with one another that I don't know. In my mind, I've always considered them the same city because, I mean, you can be driving and, you cross over into Dartmouth and not even realize it. Like, oh, wow, we're in Dartmouth. But anyway, that's besides the point. Recently, for those of you who know, who live around here, that they've been slowly but surely bringing the plaza on Kings Highway back to life. The side where you used to have Toy Works years ago and Newport Creamery and all that. The Fieldstone Marketplace is what it's called. So back in the day, it was bustling, it was booming. You had Toy Works, you had Payless, you had all kinds of stuff over there. The movie theater, it was great. And then slowly but surely everything started to close, and then it was just kind of like just abandoned for years and kind of a ghost town. And little by little, they've been bringing it back to life. And two new additions have been Caliente, it's a restaurant, and Chipotle. Now, for those of you that don't know, right next door in Dartmouth, you have Chipotle and Caliente. And they're right next door to each other, like side by side. And it's the same way they're doing it in the Fieldstone Marketplace. Now, I was glad to see that new businesses were opening up there. Like, they split the old Shaw's building in half. Part of it was taken over by Ollie's. Another part was taken over by this, like, restaurant supply chain, like this wholesale restaurant supply chain place. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's, where you'd get, like, your tablecloths and napkins and, all that kinds of stuff. They opened up a laundromat in there. Which was another thing I thought, like, what's the point? Because right down the street you got Delkin, but whatever. Anyway, my opinion of whatever goes there, I guess, really doesn't matter so long as something's there. I mean, every time a business opens up, it generates jobs, which people always need jobs. My thing was, though, is, like, why is everything a carbon copy? Like, you go to Dartmouth, right, and you go to New Bedford, or if you go into Fairhaven, aside from the name, and I know people are going to have differences of opinions on this, but aside from the name of the town or the city, everything is pretty much the same. And to me, if everything's the same, then it's like, well, what's the point in going there? If like, okay, so, like, aside from some locally owned restaurant, like New Bedford has restaurants, Fairhaven doesn't have, Fairhaven has restaurants, New Bedford doesn't have, obviously, and same thing with Dartmouth. But other than that, it's pretty much everywhere you go, it's the same thing. A liquor store is a liquor store. And you got Taco Bell, Burger King, McDonald's, whatever. And then, you have your non-fast food chain restaurants like Olive Garden, or in this case, Chipotle and Caliente. And for me personally, I like to see variety. Like, I would have liked it if instead of a Chipotle, it might have been a Chili's. But if Chili's doesn't want to open up a restaurant here, then, I mean, there's not much you can do about it. I don't know how that works. I don't know if the establishment's approach the landowners, or the landowners approach the establishments and ask them if they want to open up a place. I'm not sure how it works, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, when I've been fortunate enough to travel, right? And we live over here at the tippity top of the Northeast in New England, and I've traveled to like Florida. I've been to Georgia. I've been to Louisiana. So that's a lot of distance. There's a lot of states between here and there, and in its own weird way, it was the same thing. Like, like everybody had a McDonald's, had a Taco Bell, had a Burger King. Like, wow, really? And again, aside from the locally owned businesses, there, to me, there wasn't a whole lot of difference, which was kind of disappointing in some cases, because to me, the variety is the spice of life. And if you're going to travel, take the time to fly or drive or whatever to get somewhere, I know if for me, I want new experiences. I want to experience new things. I want to see something different, something unique. If it's just the same old stuff everywhere you go, then what's the point of leaving home? Now, that is to say, like, once I've been to Florida. Florida's really different than New England. That's obvious. Georgia's different than New England or Massachusetts, and so is Louisiana. Some changes are good, some changes are bad. And of course, certain states have that attraction, that like big attraction that people will go to that state to see specifically because it's known for this or whatever. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that everywhere I look, I see the same. It's like a carbon copy everywhere you go, and to me that gets dull and boring. And I understand it's capitalism, and if your city wants a Taco Bell or a Burger King or whatever it is, and they're willing to do business there, then, I mean, who am I or anybody to tell you can't have it? I mean, I get it. I completely understand it, but for places that are so close, like I said, like Dartmouth and New Bedford, to have the exact, it's like, I mean, what's the point in going into Dartmouth other than the mall at this point? Because what do they have that we don't have here in New Bedford? It's just kind of like a moot point, unless maybe you're going to, I don't know, Kohl's maybe, or what's the I can't think of the name of it. The places you go to buy like building supplies and paint and all that stuff. I can't think of them right now, but anyway. And then you got BJ's, which we don't have that in New Bedford. So I don't know. I just maybe I just need a change of scenery and need to go look for something different and unique. Anyway, that's that. What are your opinions on it? Tell me what you think. See you later.